Welcome back to another book club episode. This is Stuck with a Podcast in collaboration with Palm Wine Central Podcast. I am one of your humble hosts, Uncle AK, and with me I got the good lady Terez. How you doing, my good sis?
I'm okay. How are you?
I'm great. Happy Halloween. We decided to touch a very lengthy book. But anyways, here it goes. Today, in this episode, we are blasting off to revisit. And when I say revisit, it's because, this book was dropped a long time ago and it's been revised a long time, it's revised a few times. So we are revisiting John Gray's Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus, the best-selling relationship manual that sold millions, shaped a generation, and still divide readers today. What was it? Timeless truth or outdated stereotypes? Did it bring people closer together or teach women to play smaller so men could feel bigger? Hey, yes or no way. Anyways, I don't know how I feel just reading that line there, but in 2025, do we even believe love has anything to do with planets at all? We are diving into this book. If John Gray got it right or wrong, and what its legacy says about how we understand connections, respect, and gender today. So buckle up, whether you're from Mars, Venus, or somewhere beautiful in between. We are in for an honest conversation, or you are in for an honest conversation. I got my good sis here, T, to help me deliver this book. You know what I mean? She's going to help keep me in track. We're going to start with a great icebreaker question. And the very first one goes as, if you had to describe your current relationship style or mood as a planet, which one would it be? Mars, Venus, or something entirely different, and why? What would that be for you, T?
Can I use something else?
What would we like to use then? Let's substitute to what?
I don't know. I'd say it's more my relationship style is more like baking.
More like what?
Baking.
Baking? Why?
hmm Because to get something beautiful, it involves following certain steps, and you cannot skip a step, and you have to put in the work. If you don't have the right temperature, the right ingredient, um, you're not gonna get the result that you want, right? Like with baking, you know that you want I don't know, banana nut muffin, for example. You know what that is. You know what it tastes like. You can imagine it, but if you don't follow the steps, right ingredients, right temperature in the oven, right cook time, you're not going to get what you envision. So I think that describes it for me. Yes.
Okay. Since you use baking, I'll use sports. Soccer, for example. You know, um, it's a it's an up and down. Today you win, tomorrow you lose, right? Or you could win for an extensive amount of time and you could lose for an extensive amount of time, right? It's not given. But what is given though is practice makes perfect, right? If you train well enough and if you get the right players, the right team, right, you can win as much as you can. And the trick is to always keep the players motivated, right? If they're constantly motivated, then if they're constantly motivated and constantly have a purpose, right, then they'll always, live to win you championships, live to, sell jerseys, pretty much make your whole organization profitable. So that would kind of be my own.
I don't know much about sports, but don't they say discipline over motivation in sports?
Discipline over motivation. Yeah,
hmm
but you also need that motivation to be disciplined, right?
Yeah,
Um,
they didn't say take it out, they say over. Because I'm just saying because you mentioned motivation, right? But I was just
but yeah, discipline for sure. I mean, in that sense, then yeah, because once you're disciplined, right, you'll always be motivated, right? Because you wake up with a purpose, with a goal. What is your goal? What are you trying to discipline about? And as so far you have that discipline, that also brings in consistency, and that consistency keeps you motivated, keep going. So, of course.
see, it's funny that we both use different analogies to explain, but in both our explanations. I can see work. I can see application. I can see dedication to the course, right? So that's interesting. Okay.
Yeah, so I mean, some people. No, let me not say that one. For this one, for a second icebreaker question, which you would take this, and then we'll jump into our main course for today. Is what is this book about? If you had to tell John Doe about this book, right? Why they should read this book? What would you say?
First of all, I don't know if I would tell someone to read the book,
That's interesting.
but in summary, the book, the title in itself, the men are from Mars, women are from Venus. I think I got that correctly. Pretty much, it's just describing. It has nothing to do with planet, in case anyone is wondering. But I think it's a metaphor to say that men and women are just from polar opposite, from different sides. They don't have fundamentally we are the same, but we do not have the same methodology, um, the way that we operate, the way that we think, and the way that we just do just about everything. So that's why it's that separation for
Mm-hmm.
Mars. It's not as simple as, okay, we are all on Earth, we are humans. We are pretty much, it's pretty much like mixing aliens and humans, if that makes sense. That's my, so it tells you, okay, because women are from Mars, just these are characteristics of people from that planet. Men are from Venus. I think I got that right. Well, however, but whichever planet you are on, here are the characteristics that are common to people on that planet.
Yeah, for sure. Some people found this book as a massive waste of time and bullshit, and others call it a classic guide to understanding the opposite sex, right? Um, the book the book is an instant, memorable metaphor that men and women, as T said, are fundamentally different, like visitors from two distinct planets, to explain core differences in communication, thinking, and emotional needs, right? Uh, let's jump into our very first question for today. Are men and women truly from different planets, or have we mistaken social conditioning for cosmic differences?
Oh, absolutely. I do believe that we are from different planets. That goes without saying.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Even amongst women, we are still kind of somehow we are different, but talk less of two separate genders. Oh, absolutely.
Oh yeah. Definitely agree. Definitely agree with you on that one. There is no
Some birds,
yeah. If somebody do feel like we do, they want to take that question and prove us wrong, please do so. I'm definitely very interested, to hear this. So we would run past that one.
Just to point something out though, when I say that men and women are different, it is in the most generalized form of things, right? Because you will find some women who are similar to men in characteristics and vice versa. But in the most general sense of it, yes, they are very.
Not even general in any way, shape, or form. Me, I truly believe that we are distinct. Now, do we share some similarities? Sure. Do we share some characteristics? Sure. Is there some blurred lines in between? Sure. But general or not, we're just different, in how we think, in how we go about things, and in our physiology.
How we are wired, pretty
How
much.
we are wired. There you go. We're just different. We're just different. The way we see things, the way we think it's just different. And there's nothing wrong with it. You know what I mean? It's just I think it's just how things were supposed to be. Like magnets. Unlike charges attract and like charges repel, right? So do men when men go to their caves, right? When women talk, metaphorically speaking, still, is that useful today, or is it just a clever excuse for poor communication habits?
See, I don't know about the men piece of it because I'm not a man. Um, but in the book, it does suggest that when like there is an issue, um, men do like to go to their caves and I don't know, stew and think over what it is, and then women do like to talk. I do know as a woman that I do like to talk about. That one is true. Um, I want to, I process, for me, I process the issues sometimes even further while I talk. So, and I have learned, I mean, in the book, it talks about talking, right? But I see that I don't necessarily have to talk to the person in question, right? Because I've realized that sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes that raw emotion is not the best in communicating what it is that I want to say. So I go and I talk to myself. I have that argument out loud so that I can process it, put my words better, and then come and talk where we are good or we are definitely going to talk about it. But I can relate sometimes with men where you say we want to talk about something and they don't want to talk. I don't know what it is. Why you guys don't want to talk?
It's not that we don't want to talk. You know, we'll love to talk, but I think that there's a, well, let me say that, let me put it this way. There are men who love to talk and there are men who just don't like to talk, right? There are men who they focus on their purpose. Like they say, okay, my family, my career, things like that are my purpose. So they'll focus on that. And anything outside of that, they don't really care for. And there are men who they care about any and everything, especially like the female gossips. You know what I mean? Like how women would sit and talk about things, you know, among themselves. Like they do care about that and they do want to hear that, right? So to me, I would say it depends on your person, right? It depends on your person. Like, do you know your person and how to communicate? Because it's important to learn how that person communicates too. And vice versa, like is your lady or sisters or, you know, mom and things like that. Like how to communicate. Are they somebody who's chatty? And if they're chatty, you cannot just always be that person that's, you know, closed off, because then how do you, what's the word? Compromise, right? With people. How do you compromise? How do you start learning how to compromise? So it's just knowing your person per se and just knowing when somebody's interested in something or not, I would say. And then also too, I think that communication is very, 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 is very, very important, right? Just because that I might go to my cave does not mean that I don't want to communicate. But I also do need time to process things. You know, I also do need time to process to see, you know, what maybe I did wrong or what I didn't do wrong or how this thing can, you know, morph into something bigger than what the average eye can see. So, and sometimes you just need silence, man. You know, sometimes
I'm gonna
like
ask, is
it's
he
just
always
silence.
processing or you just run away?
No, he's not running away. He's not, because see, what you see, you might see it as run away, right? But what I see is there's not a thing I can do about it right now. So what's the point? If I know that I could leave to fight another day, what's the point of me fighting right now? When the fight I'm putting right now will still not do anything but that day. Why should I waste the energy and time right now?
See, that's what I was talking about. We're from different planets because sometimes talking about it eases the burden for now. It helps, makes it more tolerable. So when you say
To
you
that
go,
to that point, right? I agree with you. But I agree with you with a little bit of reservation in the sense that, please, if your mind decides to go about like the speed of light, for example, right? Just for lack of a better word, if your mind decides to be going at things at the speed of light, by all means, don't think that I'm going to be that way and then chuck it up to communication. No, you can slow your brain down too. Not everything must your brain take it all the way there, right? Like you can also slow your brain down and just see that there's nothing you could do about right now about certain things, but we can talk about it later because there are more pressing things that are going on right now. Or two, just ask if one has the mental capacity to handle what it is that you're about to say right now all the time?
Okay, see, now that brings me to something that he mentions in the book about the rubber band theory,
Mm-hmm.
right? That men are like rubber band, they pull away before they can spring back. And that in the book, he was also encouraging women that to give men that space to be able to pull away. And the more you leave them pull away, the more they will recoil and come back. But if you insist on if you insist to pressure them, right, they will pull back and they will not come back. I don't know if that does not seem very right. It does not seem right
Why
with
not?
me at all. Because I don't know, it's almost sounding like permission to be emotionally distant. Because if there's something that needs to be addressed, you are encouraging me as a woman to give him permission to pull back so that I can have him. Okay, so where is my own permission to talk about it right now, to face it head on? Like, why? I feel like it's a one-sided advice where it's like, okay, if there's a problem, all right, women be on guard. Let your man go somewhere. Let him go hunting. Let him just go about his business. Act like nothing is going on. He will come back when he's ready to talk. Pretty much that's what the book said. Not leave him go home, but like just if there's something, don't talk about it. Just let him roam. When he's ready, he's gonna come. I just feel like all the time, bro. Nah. I think that to me that's one thing I was like, nah, this is very one-sided. I don't know. Mm.
I don't think it's one-sided. Right. Okay. Think about it this way. You're not ready for this one, but think about it this way. Women get their menstrual cycles, correct?
Yes.
During your menstrual cycle, you want a man to be loving, to be caring, to be understanding that you are going through a certain phase, a certain moment, that certain things, he should try to make life a lot easier for you, correct?
Okay.
So in the same sense, why is it that if I'm going into my man cave, why should it be one-sided? Why should it not be a normal thing? It's part of our process to process things. It's part of our DNA to go about things in that way. You want somebody who is sound. You want somebody who is emotionally connected. You want somebody who is not angered, who is not triggered. You want somebody who is able to control their emotions. You want somebody who is understanding. You want somebody who is caring. You want. But yet, where they go to go get that inspiration, they should not go. Why?
Because here's where to me I found in the book where it was a danger zone, right? It's like how much time is enough time?
Oh, okay.
Because I cannot wait forever for you to come back to process, from your process. So how long is enough time? Now, if we have to deal with things back to back, every time you need a week in your man's cave before you come back. Do you see how things drag and then things escalate? And then by the time you come back, I have already probably over the whole thing altogether. Now I don't want to talk about it because you wanted to have a rubber band theory like he says in the book. Now it's like, where's the line? What's the limit? Is there a time frame? How long should I be waiting for you to come back to talk about this? So that to me, I'm like, that's why I say it feels like a one-sided advice and it's just zone as well. Your point about the period, that's like apples to oranges. One thing I cannot do anything about, the other one you can amend.
Sure, I don't deny, right? But I'm just saying, yes, it's apple to oranges, but the same, like the idea of it, it's kind of similar to me. Okay, forget about that part, right? Just take it to the basic emotionalness of things, right? You as a woman, when you get into your emotions or when you don't want to talk about things, me as a man, I cannot sit there and be forcing that, no, you must answer me. No, you must get, no, you're your own human being, right? You need time to process things. You need time to be able to resolve the emotions within you, correct?
Yes.
There's no there's no difference. And while you are in there, if I come back to you and I try to pressure you to talk before you even ready, guess what? Am I making it easier for you to think about what you need to think about and resolve what you need to resolve in you to have a very constructive conversation? No.
No.
Right?
There
Now,
we go.
sorry, one sec. Now, to your point about how long will I be in there? Look, if I'm going to be in there for a week, I'm going to be in there for a week and there's nothing you could do about it. Now, do I say that that's how it's supposed to be? No, that's not how it's supposed to be, right? But if I'm going to be in there for a week, I'm going to be in there for a week. If, for example, men do not just go into their man cave just because that they want to.
Oh, do tell. Because the book did not tell us.
Yeah. That book was written in 1992. And it's just been revised constantly, right? But men do not just go into their man cave just because that they want to. Now, sometimes, yeah, you just want your peace of mind and you just want to go sit down and stuff like that and just reflect on things. But to me, the idea of a man cave is not just when, like, I go in when I'm sad, no, or when I'm happy, no. Like, it's just an idea where I just want to have space to myself, right? And just be me away from, yeah, whatever the world is, right? Is that one space where I feel like I could do any and everything and without any repercussions, right? And sometimes it doesn't have anything to do with you. I just want to go sit down and play my video games, right? I know you're over there. Oh, how long is it going to take you? Shit. I just had a long week, man. Let me have my time in there for as much as I can. But sometimes men just don't go in there because they want to. Maybe you too, as the woman, you too can also see and ask yourself, have I created a conducive environment for him to be able to express what he needs to express? Or does he have to go sit down and find a better way to come and express this, or not even express it at all and figure it out by themselves, right? You too can also see or ask yourself, have I really created that conducive environment for that person to open up? And if you have, then maybe it's something about him. But if you haven't, then maybe it's something you got to take upon yourself to start creating, asking necessary questions to see how, you cannot allow that person to be in that space forever. I don't know if that makes sense, but hey.
I mean, I guess it's your process. I guess it's the whole premise of the book, right? It's not that it should completely make sense, which it still doesn't, but it's meant to give me an idea of what a man's process potentially looks like, right? And I don't know, I guess each person, each gender has to make the adjustments accordingly to accommodate the other person's difference, I think.
For sure.
But that piece to me still doesn't make sense. But,
yeah, that's because I want to come and enter into our brains. Sorry, sweetheart. Leave our brains alone. You know,
I'm not trying to enter.
Leave our brains alone. Like you cannot tell what goes on in here. Only us can. Same way you cannot tell what goes on in yours. Only you can. But you do have to accept the fact that men will have their man cave if, like, I'm talking about physically, like if every man had a chance to create one for themselves, they would, you know what I mean? And no, you guys are not invited into it. And stop pressuring to want to get into it unless invited. And even invited, say you should not come into it. Yeah, that's just my take though. But
I needed the other ladies here to back me up because I feel like I'm being ganged up against and it's just you alone. Okay. I'm not going to argue that part. I rest my case.
where do you just a little bit of okay, let me ask this. What's your process of um what's the word I'm looking for? Like when you refresh, right? Like when you go through your refresh process in life, like as a woman, what's that for you? When you need to let's say for example, you've been going, and then you just need time to yourself as a woman. What is that process like for you?
It first it depends on what I need to recharge, right? If I understand your question. If it's emotional, if it's physical, if it's mental even. But I do know that it has a lot to do with peace and quiet.
Bam, right there. So now you could begin to understand why. See, the world.
No, your question is pertaining to if it's something that I choose, it's like it's an intentional act, right? Like, okay, I'm feeling drained, let me go do this. As opposed to when it comes to a communication gap, right? Where it's like, okay, I'm not talking now, I'm gonna pull away, come back. Like it's not the same thing.
See, to that aspect, right? You have to understand that sometimes, okay, me, I need to take a step to the side sometimes and reframe what I'm thinking and how I got to deliver what I'm thinking. Because I have a tendency of just verbally vomiting without having a care or a fear of how the other person will perceive or take what I'm saying, and just expect them to take it regardless of what. Very normal. You know what I mean? Going into that cave, I'm able to sit down and reflect. Now you can say, okay, you can sleep on your bed or whichever, Man, listen, it could also be a mental thing, right? I just need time to think back at things or to reflect on things and see either what I could improve, what I missed, or where I'm going. And sometimes I don't need you there to help me with that, but I need you to understand that I am capable of doing that and give me the space to do that. And when I'm ready to come and discuss that thing, I'll bring it to you so we can discuss on it further. There's nothing wrong with that. Before you came into the mix, I was doing that. Now, when you come into the mix, I'm not supposed to just give up on that just because you're in the mix. No, you have to find a way to understand that.
That's fine.
Mm-hmm.
But here's my thing. Where's the compromise? What you've still not answered my question for the danger zone, which the book did not, I feel like it just left arbitrary. It's like, oh, just let the man go. And when he comes back, he comes, right? There's still that aspect of danger zone that the book did not address. How long? Because depending, and you can say, yes, if I'm there for a week, I'll take a week, but it's like prolonging that communication does have its side effects on its own. And now, where's the compromise where if I have my own thing, you have your own thing? It's like, okay, you've been doing that before I came, so your process is going to stick. Who compromises when? That's when my bias are switching.
Is it a life or death thing? Whatever it is that you want to communicate or put forth, is it a life or death thing that cannot wait? Because if it's a life or death thing, then I understand. But if it's not, then what are we talking about, really? But let me ask you this question, though. To your point, right? Women go through postpartum, right?
Okay.
When they are there, we as men, do we give them a timeline?
That's what you keep comparing.
How the human body reacts to things, how the mind too reacts to things, right? If we go into our cave, there is no reason why you want to put a control on how long we're supposed to be there, or why we should be there, or when we should be there, and stuff like that. I understand that's two different things, but people also got to be able to see the parallel with things, right? We're talking about emotions. We're talking about emotions. How can they be two different things if it's emotions?
Okay, so just like the book, you're saying that it takes as long as it takes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And if you try to put your hands in that process, it's you controlling. You are trying to be controlling. There's no other way to see that. You are really trying to be controlling. Same as when you are going through your own thing. If as a man come in and I say, when are you going to start getting over that? Oh, you should not feel that way. Oh, this and the third. You're going to ask me, why about controlling how you're supposed to feel or react to things. So the reverse is like the exact same. Okay. So, sorry guys, I have weird analogies in my head. So if you hear my analogies, I beg, don't. It's just, yeah, the brain just thinks things. Anyways, to get the next question.
I mean, next one is even kind of relating to the whole connected in a sort of way to the whole rubber band theory, right? In the book, Gray warns women against initiating difficult conversations or the whole concept of pressuring men to open up, right? And this is exactly my point. Is it protecting men's autonomy or teaching women to suppress their needs?
It's not teaching women to suppress their needs. I won't think so. Because again, there's 24 hours in the day, 7 days in a week, right? Yeah, just how you want me to be understanding of your emotions, understanding that, okay, there's a period, there's a particular time in a month when you also need, peace, quiet. You'll not want to do certain things or whichever. It's the same way as, and you want us to understand, it's the same way as, when the tables are flipped around, you two got to be able to understand, because we are all similar in the sense that we have, there's nobody who was born without emotions. We're all born with emotions, but we just channel them differently. So in this sense, it's not suppressing their needs per se, because you can always talk about what it is that you need to talk about. For example, if I'm in my cave, does not mean that my cell phone is turned off. It does not mean that the pages in the house, like books in the house, are all gone now. The ink in all the pens or the pencils, with the lead, they don't write no more. You can literally jot down whatever it is that your ideas are. You can paste them somewhere. You could text them. You could email them. There are many different forms of communicating. You can say, hey, while you are in there, just know that I'm going through this, or, just keep this in mind. I don't have to read it, but I do know that while I'm leaving this place, there is something that needs my attention immediately. You know what I'm saying? Now, when I leave from there and I come and you are sitting over there moody, carrying your nose in the air, like you can smell every fucking thing in the house without saying whatever it is that's going on, please don't blame me. You know what I'm saying? Because just give them a journey from, like, help me help you. What it is that's going on? What did I miss? That's all I'm saying. Nobody told you to suppress.
Let me understand something from what you're saying. What you're saying is this, that if you get the space that you need to go and do your whole rubber band thing, and if I don't pressure you to speak when you're not ready for it, you go and you equip yourself to come back for that conversation. Is that what you're saying?
Equip myself for the conversation?
Yes. Because I'm assuming you cannot have that conversation now because you're not ready. You don't have, maybe you've not thought it through. You've not found your words. You've probably not even figured out what the issue is, some different things. So I'm assuming that means you're taking that time to put your words together, to put your thought process together.
Provided if you've told me what the issue is or what the topic of conversation is, right? But I'll also assume that 9 out of 10 times, you might probably wait to see me going into my man cave, then that's when you have a problem. And you expect me now to stop going down the stairs because you have a problem. No, I already had a problem before you had a problem. And I was going to go and solve my problem. Now I'm not about to stop right there just because you have a problem. You took a wait. Now, is it logical? Is it fair, right? However I want to put it, emotionally sound for me to put my own feelings to the side and come and succumb to yours as a woman? Sure. But shit, if I'm not equipped at that particular moment, there's no reason for me to stop what I'm about to go do and do that, because at the end of the day, I'll make it worse for you, because I would not have any understanding to give you. I would not have any feelings to give you. And even if I hide most of what I'm feeling, then I'm not really giving you my best, right? I'm just trying to do it to satisfy you so you can leave me alone to go do that. But would you rather I go do it, bring my full self and give you my full self versus give you only 20%? Which one would you rather?
See, I'm glad you mentioned something that you need to know what the issue is so you can go equip yourself, right? But the book clearly is warning women against initiating that conversation, right? So run this for me.
No,
Based on what
the
the book
the book said, do not start talking about your problems, and then it's 3 hours later that you want to land. If you know that
that's another piece of it.
okay.
The other piece of it is talking about once, like he advises women against initiating difficult conversation, aka like, okay, there's a problem, like tell me what you think about it, pressuring a man or initiating that conversation, right? I'm just saying it's like to your thought process as a man, seeing that okay, you agree with the whole rubber band theory, you agree with the whole pulling away to go equip yourself to come back stuff. How how should that presentation go of the issue? Because how do I tell you there's a problem, present it to you, and then not follow through? So to me, for not to me, to you, explain to me, say we have to talk about an important issue right now. How would that process go?
For me, to you, for example, right? Let me say how I would perceive it, and then you tell me what you would do, right? If I have something important to tell you, or for us to communicate, conversate about, or discuss, right? Depending on where you are, and depending on how we've been communicating throughout the day, for example, and what time of the day it is, you know, I'll find a way to bring it up or not bring it up. For example, depending on the weight of the conversation, I know damn well not to bring it up during the day while we're both at work, for example. You know what I mean? There's no reason for me to do that. I'll wait till when we both seated and when we both free, then we can start talking about that, no matter how I'm feeling inside, you know? I would love to, but I would love to say, hey, this is my issue. Give you the bullet points or the highlights, the summary of what we're going to talk about. And then you could begin to start dwelling on it or thinking about it, right? If it's something I want to introduce, hey, I want to introduce this, let's at least give you heads up. Before we start recording, it's right for me to put the questions and send out, right? It's the exact same thing with communication in relationships. To me. Now, me personally, I really get frustrated when somebody starts talking. And depending on this person that, you know, I pride myself in knowing how people communicate or how people just are in general. And once I know you are a verbal talker and you're about to start telling me something and you're not telling me what the conclusion is, oh, I'm already pissed, man. Like I'm beginning to be pissed because I'm looking at my clock like, fuck, I'm about to sit here for 45 hours before I get to the root of this. No, I'm not even listening at this point with my listening ears. Like I'm listening with my mad ears. And then at the end, the thing just takes off again. Now, when I say, what is the solution? I mean, what's the conclusion to this? And then now you could go, you'll get upset. But why? Oh, it's not right for women to just do, you have to listen to the woman's own, like the man said. But why, bruv? Just say what the ending is, and then let's solve the thing. I mean, now give me this thing to listen. Because once you tell me what that thing is, my brain is now going to go and say, oh, solution mode. My brain is saying listen mode. But if you don't help me in that situation, my brain starts saying, okay, what solutions can I give this person? Start, I'm listening with solutioning, things like that. Maybe it's not even what you need to. You feel me? So I don't even know what was even going with that.
Let's see, you mentioned something. He does say that in the book, right? Where it's like, I think he used an example of a couple where be like, how was your day? And she'll say, oh, you remember so and so from work, when this, and who did here, and who came here. And then remember that my coworker who did something, and she would narrate there's a whole backstory to it. As opposed to the man when she would just ask, honey, how was your day? He'd say, oh, my day was good. And that was it, right? I feel like in that sense, that's a woman's process. it's not more as to arriving at a conclusion to it. It is more so the storytelling piece of it. Now, if you are wanting to have your rubber band theory, why are you not open to accepting that, yes, when it comes to a woman, sometimes it's the storytelling piece. Like the book said, why are you in a rush to find a solution? Why are you in a rush to get to the end of it? Now, I'm not saying take 3 hours of somebody's time to just yap and yap. And sometimes it would be that. Sometimes it might actually be an issue, but that storytelling piece is part of a woman's logic. Let me put it like that loosely. So if we are accepting the way that this is how people in mass are, and I'm accepting that, okay, you people in Venus are like this, why are you mad at the woman's process?
That's why we read the book, right? And the book suggests that I should not be upset at that process. You feel me? It's the same way as you two upset at the process that a man is supposed to stay in the cave for how long? It's the same way as me too. I'm like, upset at the fact that why can't you not just give me the solution or what the initial problem was before now you go down telling me this whole lengthy ass story. You feel me? So that's why we read the book, to learn. We read the book to learn and unlearn certain things, you know. So that's just my own. I don't know, but yeah.
Sure. I mean, I was reading the book and fighting. I'm not
What?
gonna lie, because because a lot of things are out. I read some things, and that's what made me. I was like, hold up, when was this book written? I had to stop, go to the end of the book to find out when it was published. I was like, this makes a lot of sense. And now I'm not saying that it's a whole lot of. I bet at that time a lot of it was groundbreaking, right? Because nobody else was talking about the fundamental differences between men and women. But reading it in 2025, to me, there's a lot of things that have evolved that we have known more about. We've got to understand nuances. Um, it's just, I don't know. But I was fighting with that again.
Give me 2 examples from the book.
That one.
Nuance. Outdated theories.
Oh, there's a place there where he listed like it was like 60 things for
Don't get me with that. That list pissed me off, man. I'm like, I don't know where the hell you got this list from, but you must be out of your
60 or 50 things that a man should do, or was it a woman should do for a man if you. Yeah, he gave on both sides, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, 60 for a woman. I think it's 60 or 50. I was like, there's no way he would list 60 things. Yes, he listed 60 line items. I'm like, that's why this book is so long.
Yeah.
Of what a woman should be doing for a man and what a man should be doing. I'm not going to go through that list, but a lot of it was just, I don't know.
Your mouth flop.
Yes. So to me, that in itself, I was like, ain't no way. And there are certain characteristics that he gave about women. I'm like, I am absolutely nothing like that. And I know that I'm just going vague for someone who hasn't read the book, but it's a lot of information. It's a lot. The book is like almost 600 pages long. And so he's like, women. And I'm reading, I'm like, half of these things I'm not like that now. Maybe there'll be some women who are like, I'm just like, I don't know about this. I'm not sure about this. But yeah, I don't know. That's why at the beginning I said I don't know if I would recommend the book to somebody. But
yeah.
I think at the time it was published, I think it's third or first.
That's funny. Damn, I looked at my dad smiling there. Jesus. Moving on. Now this is one question, T, that I really wanted to come and ask you here specifically. This particular question. Are you ready? Great advice ask women to shrink themselves so men can feel secure. two-part question. Number one is, do you think that's true? Right? And is that understanding or emotionally inequality?
I've already said this before, and you almost chewed my head off. I do think some of the advices were one-sided. Yeah, I do. I do feel like that whole rubber band thing, that whole don't pressure men to talk. And it could just be my bias as a woman, right? Wanting to be listened to when I do, but I do feel like in some aspects, yeah, it felt more like women should be more accommodating to how the people, men, I keep saying the people in Venus because that's what he kept saying, like the Venusians and the Martians, what, to who men are. So is it about making them feel and more like insecure or shrink? I wouldn't necessarily say shrink, but I would say it does make it prone for interpretation where women have to do a lot of accommodation.
Interesting.
In my opinion.
You don't think men do a lot of accommodating too?
In real life?
Oh, do they do it in some fake life?
I'm asking because I was going based off what he wrote of what I understood from the book.
Real life. Like, are men accommodating? What would you say?
Yeah, they can be accommodating.
I'm pretty sure anyways, let's move on first.
You're pretty sure what?
No, I'm pretty sure that you've met a lot of men who are very accommodating like women, right?
Yeah, that's why I'm saying that they can be accommodating. Yeah, that's for sure.
I guess my question here is that, do you think that men shrink themselves for women too?
Yeah, sometimes, yeah. Well, let me not say sometimes because I'm generalizing. For the people that I know that I relate with, yes, sometimes they do. But I don't, let me finish. But I don't think it is to as much degree as women do.
Explain.
Men would do that up until, I'll say, maybe 40%. Women probably up to like a 60 to 75.
Okay. I'll put a pin on that one. I'll come back to it. I'll come back. All right. Oh, Gray claims women score points differently than men in relationships. Small gestures count equally to grand ones. Does this framework promote fairness or create transactional love? And what the hell is it? What the hell is this thing about scoring points, man?
See, I have a lot of questions about that scoring point system, right? Because I'm like, how did he? Well, first of all, he said in a part in the book that hold on, let me find it. Something about the man thinks he scores high with a woman when he does something very big for her, like buying a new car or taking her on a vacation. He assumes he scores less when he does something small, like opening the car door or buying flowers. Based on this kind of system, he believes he will fulfill best by focusing time and energy in doing something big for her, right? But when women keep scores, no matter how big or small a gift is, everything scores 1 point. Each gift has equal value. It doesn't matter the size, everything gets 1 point.
1 point.
I think it's just 1 point, not in terms of numeric 1 point, but in terms of like the same thing. Like it could be 5 points. I'm guessing his scoring system is based on a 1 point system, right? It could 1 point is not as in it is small, just 1 point as in they all mean the same thing.
And that's my problem too in itself, T. That's my problem. Because say, for example, with that scoring system, you know what I'm saying? He's technically just saying that. To me, he just said that. If I come and give you first class tickets to Aruba, for example, that's your dream vacation spot. I gave you first class tickets to fly there. That scores the same points as me just buying you flowers. Is that the same gesture? Now, you could say I did all of it from love, no problem. But again, is it the same gesture, fam? How can you say both of them is 1 point? Now, that's my problem. But then in reverse, if you do the same thing, I'm not supposed to see it as 1 point. What the fuck is that about? And then you sit over there telling me about things are not fair? Come on, man.
He did not say that the woman should. Okay, I think you are getting it twisted. So, according to the book, right? A man, okay, you just described what you said the man's scoring system is. If I buy you first class tickets to Aruba, it should be like on a grading system. Let me put it that way. Like 1 being the lowest, 5 being the high, right? Aruba would be 5. First class ticket, 7 days, all paid, spent, covered vacation would be a 5, right?
Mm-hmm.
If I buy you flowers, that's nice, but it's a 1. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So your point system grades from 1 to 5.
Mm-hmm.
Come to a woman's point system. There's no 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Everything is a 1. So whether it is tickets to Aruba, it's a 1. Whether it's flowers, it's a 1. Whether it is buying her a new car, it's a 1. Whether it's doing the dishes, it's a 1. Right? That's how she sees point system. But I think also it's because sometimes, majority of the times, like the book says, to women, big things are just as important as small things. I'll give you a real life example. A man, I don't know, he pays the mortgage every day, right? That's a big thing to have a roof over your head, right? He pays the mortgage every day, but he wouldn't do the dishes. Say he left some dishes in the sink a couple of times, or he wouldn't take out the trash. Let me use the most common. He doesn't take out the trash, or he doesn't do the dishes. But he has paid mortgage, right? Maybe mortgage, let's say $4,000 a month. Never missed the bill. She doesn't even know who the mortgage company is, right? But you do understand that she will get mad if the mortgage is not paid, just as well as she will get mad if you don't take that trash out, right? She's more likely to be intimate at night because you took the trash out, you cleaned the kitchen and did the dishes, than that you paid the mortgage. You do understand that there's that possibility, right?
I do understand that.
That's to tell you that that's why I'm trying to bring it to the point where it says to women, small things, big things, same points. But to you, the man, you'll be looking at, oh, I do all these things. I put a roof over your head. You're not lacking for nothing. You're not this for this. You're not this for this. Then she complains. She has to say, take the trash out 17 times. She has to say, wash the dishes 18 times. To you, those are small things. You're focusing your energy on the big things. So the book is telling us that when it comes to women, if you are trying to get on her good side, big or small, it doesn't matter. All of them score a 1. That's how she sees it. You see it as, but I do all these other things for you. Why are you hung up on this little piece? That is what the book presents to us.
Yeah, I hear you.
It's like, I hear you. That's between you and Gray. Thank God, nothing.
That's really between you and I got nothing to do with me. You know what I'm saying? That really has zero to do with me. If you like, if any woman like, they can't compare paying the mortgage to taking out the trash. Yeah. So and
That's the reality of it, though.
yeah, and it sucks because like, for example, if you've been paying your mortgage by yourself or your rent by yourself, and all of a sudden you're not taking care of that, and you put it as a point one, and you point it as one, same way as taking out the trash as one. To me, when I look at it and I look at the person doing that, I'm not gonna lie, in my head somewhere I'm just saying a fucking idiot, and I keep it moving. Like, that's just what I'll say in my head, and I keep it moving, because there's no way, shape, or form. And that even leads me to also say that's why a lot of women hate math. That's why a lot of women hate math, because you just want the easy way out. You don't want to calculate things. Yeah, just put everything as one, because that's the easiest way to solve things. It's the easiest way to map things. And why would you not say you hate math? But anyways,
that ain't got nothing to do with math.
No,
I think the one is just a it's just a metaphoric number to say that everything is the same. It could be 5. It's just saying that
it could be 5, it could be 10. All I'm saying is, right, the fact that you want to make everything just the same is the problem in itself. It's a problem why you not see that it's okay for a man to go to his cave, but it's okay for you to sit there and say, oh, everything is a 1. The fuck not? What are we talking about? Matter of fact, if I catch this John guy, he will cry.
You sound like you throw hands if you see Dr.
Yeah, he will cry, because what is that? No, seriously. Let's think this critically, right? You're trying to tell me somebody putting a roof over your head like they're your parent. You want to come and compare that shit with taking out the trash, something that you two can also take out? What are we talking about? Okay, let me ask you this question. When I come home, for example, and I see dishes in the plastic, yo, why the dishes not cleaned? How you gonna feel about that? Oh, I'll take care of it later on. Is that the question I asked? No, seriously. Do you start seeing how it's okay for you to be vexed about something, but then if I do the same thing, you think that's supposed to be normal? Why?
Listen.
If I say, why didn't you clean the dishes? Why would you get upset at me? But you want to ask me about taking the trash out?
You're mixing the whole point system, or it's just really annoying you so bad.
Anyways. No, see, to the point system, if I give you a first class ticket, all expenses paid for, to your favorite place, by all means, your vagina should be screaming, I want that guy. Your vagina should be leaking water. Because at this point in time, like, to me, especially if it's not even something that you can do for yourself, now you should point that shit high. Now you're telling me it's the same as you telling me that, oh, you vexed that I did not take out the trash? Man, I'm not even going to lie. To me, if I was married to another person, it's grounds for divorce, because your mentality is flawed. It's fucked. In every way, shape, or form. It's fucked. Matter of fact, you are very selfish. And I'll start asking, how do your parents raise you? Because the way they raise you is fucked, in my view. But I'll leave it at that. All right.
Tell them, piss you off.
All right, man. No, you cannot provide shit for yourself, but then you want to come and point it, or you want to come and give it a less value, like you can do it for yourself. For some women who don't pay the mortgage, for example, let's just use it for an example, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's turn the tables around and let's have them pay it on a monthly basis, and sit there and watch that man go about his day the way he wants to, and not say shit, no complaints whatsoever. And let's see how long you're going to fucking keep that up without opening your goddamn mouth to complain. Because y'all think it's easy. Y'all think it's sweet. Or ask your dad who does it while you come in and go out and tell you, do not go out, but yet you still do it.
Now you're dragging the daddy into this.
No, I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
So you're thinking, you really do believe that that whole point system from the woman's view is flawed.
Yes, that's how ungrateful human beings have been created. That's how ungrateful human beings have been created this far. That's why some of them will not even consider working, because they will not even see the importance of it. They have been shielded for it for so long that we even want to start talking about it. Why would they even try to understand? Why would they even try to understand? It's just a man's job. Yeah, sure. But the man does not have a right to also go sit down in his cave to calm his brain down when he feels like the world is beating on him. Just have a time to himself to just relax. Why? So the man was just born all the time to just be the one that people would just be putting hammers on their head, da, 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 every time they want. Even the hammer takes breaks. You know, I'm just saying. But yeah, the point system thing is flawed, man. But you guys correct me, ladies and gentlemen, you the listeners, and even men too. What do you guys think? Do you guys think I'm just blowing smoke, or you guys feel the same way?
Let's talk about another technique in the book that I found a little contradictory as well, right? Love letter technique.
Mm-hmm.
He suggested that you should write love letters. He called them love letters, but they are not necessarily love letters as we know it, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty much just a letter to the person you're in a relationship with, to express your difficult feelings in a safe manner, right?
Or even yourself.
Or even yourself. Well, technically, he does this, write those letters. You're not obliged to give it to the other person, but it's like if it's some of those things that bring up difficult emotions that you think the other person may not be able to handle at that time, or be able to process, or you think might hurt them, and you don't want to do that, write it down in a letter addressed to them, but you can keep it to yourself. Now, if you feel comfortable enough, you can share it with them, right? Do you think that this is a brilliant communication tool, or it's a workaround for partners who cannot sit and have face-to-face conversation?
Yeah, it's a workaround for those who cannot sit down and have face-to-face conversations, right? But then again,
is that a good thing? Before you continue, is that a good thing?
That's what I was going to, right? Like,
okay.
Yeah. Because I was gonna say that, first of all, if you two cannot communicate, what are you two doing together? Like, are you gonna stay writing things to each other? Like, come on, you know what I'm saying? Like, you should be able to sit down and have conversations with your person, and the letter only comes in when, for example, they're in their man cave, right? And you cannot go down there. You write your letter, you put on the door, you write your letter, or you text them a message, this and the third. Now, me personally, I'm not for that thing where people say, oh, this person is too difficult to talk to, or this person is too difficult. Then what the fuck are you doing with them? Go find a person who is easy for you to communicate with. You see what I'm saying? Now, don't tell me that, oh, they have all these other great attributes. No, communication is a very key aspect in every relationship. It should be a do or die thing. It should not be one of those things where you say, it might work or not. Maybe not. No, it's a very key aspect in every relationship. And if you're somebody who does not understand, and then you have no business being with them, because they have a different MO. They have a different MO. What are you doing for them that they can't do for themselves? That they will seek to put that to the side to keep benefiting from that till they cannot. Those are things that you should be able to see for yourself. You don't need Balawu to help you with that one. I'm just saying. But the whole love letter thing, in 2025, who is even still writing love letters, man? And who's reading it? That's the question. Because me, I'm not reading that stuff.
But you just said if you're in the man cave, write the letter, though.
That was me just saying, for those who actually want to participate in that, right? But for me and mine, please don't leave me no love letter, because I'm not reading it. Matter of fact, don't even text me anything lengthy because I'm not reading it either. You can just call and tell me. I'm already reading enough throughout the day. Just talk.
And then you don't want them to take 3 hours. Now, if they write, it's easier to stack their thoughts. You don't see that as
No,
a benefit?
well, in this day and age, I would not like, yeah, right. Like, actually, being that you mentioned what you said, in this day and age, I'd rather somebody just write everything versus having to keep me for 3 hours without giving me the ending, right? First, before keeping for 3 hours. Just write it down, because that way I can go all the way to the end myself and read what the conclusion is. Then I go back up and be reading and be skipping as I so please. Or I could just ask AI to read the thing for me, summarize it. You feel me? Yeah.
I don't think it's it's a great supplemental tool, communication tool to have, right? It shouldn't take over. You shouldn't have to keep face-to-face conversations in favor of writing those letters, right? I think it's kind of like a diary, so to say, but again, I do feel like writing does have its place. Sometimes you have those, like it says in the book, like women like to talk, men want to withdraw, right? I think in that instance, that would be a great time to write this letter down. You get what I'm saying? Especially when you cannot initially have that conversation. I think writing it down is a good way. Because sometimes when days pass, I forget how I feel or how I felt about something, right? But if you write it down, sometimes I find that when I write it down in the peak of that month, I come back, I may not feel the same, but I come back and I remember how I was feeling and what it did. And I still feel that it is important to talk about it, even if I don't feel that same way, right? Because if something similar happens, it's still going to bring up the same emotions, it's still going to make me feel the same way. I do see it as beneficial in that sense, but to have it replace, be like the main communication tool, you know, I mean, unless your person reads Braille, then you can write all your shit down. I believe they can hear though.
No. Well, I agree with you, but I don't agree with you in the sense that it's 2025, man. You know, we've come a long way from pen and paper. You know, we have digital devices that make phone calls, FaceTime calls. You know, they leave voicemails. You know, leave recorded messages. You know, and you can even text. You know, so I also think that what you allow will persist, will continue. And I feel as though that's one thing that once you introduce, somebody might take it as the easy way out and not have to put in the work to communicate. They'll say, oh, rather you do that because, oh, maybe you don't listen. Oh, maybe it is not. Oh, maybe. The maybes can keep going once you keep introducing certain things. For me, I don't give a crap. If we cannot just talk about things, if we cannot find a way to talk about things, please, we don't belong together. It's not a letter that will keep us together. That's just it. Because when it's time to really sit down and talk about things, we'll say, oh, this person is not going to answer. Oh, this person, oh, and then now let's go revert to letters. And then we'll always now be reverting to letters and text messages and all whatnot, and not putting in the work to actually sit down and be able to communicate through things. Now, this is my thing. So the thing about you saying the story, I mean, what the conclusion is before you say the story. Me, myself, and I'm a huge one of my personas is breathing in real time what is going on and noting it down. What I'm saying is, if today you are so excited about talking, like Kongosa, or talk about, you know, things that you like and stuff like that, you better keep that same fucking energy when it comes down to serious matters and when there are problems. Do not, when there are problems, seal your mouth down and say, oh, I'm not going to talk. Because best believe what? When there are no problems and now you want to be reconciled, please go and call your other friends. Because me personally, I'm not going to give you that room. You don't pick and choose. You're going to do it 100% or you're not going to do it at all. Simple as that.
Like they say in Instagram comments, oh, it's strict over here.
I'm just saying. Don't think that communication is only when things go right. It's a lot more important when things are wrong. Because that's when you go back to the drawing board and figure things out. But if you're going to shy away from that, we might as well shy away from everything. And which in turn again, why the fuck are we even together in the first place?
I mean, I get your point about the letter. So, but are you okay with it just being like a supplemental tool at all?
I am okay with it
Just
being a supplemental tool
okay.
once or twice a year. But it should not be a thing because I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to read it. Now, you can choose to do it because it will make you feel good. But by all means, please do not, I repeat, do not stress me about not having read it. Because clearly, like I said, you have a mouth and you could just say whatever it is. That's that. And I'm not writing no letter either. So
I was about to say, because the second part of that technique says if you give your person, you can encourage them to write the response.
no, I'm not writing.
See, I'm a big writer, pen and paper person. And it's not just, no, don't get me wrong, it's not just problems. It's like sometimes I want to appreciate somebody, right? I'll write a letter. You're doing wonderful. I want to encourage some. I'd love to write letters. A thank you note. I'll handwrite it and give it to you, right? It's not just okay. There's a problem, and I do prefer actually when there are issues to talk about those head on, as opposed to writing that letter. But I just feel like it. I don't know. I guess maybe if you and me and my person get to a point where it's so heated, where there's tension in the house, I can see how the letter can come into play. We just talk through text until we are comfortable enough to start talking to each other. But I don't know.
I'll give you a better solution to a letter, though.
What's that?
Rather than writing a letter,
Mm-hmm.
just let your head game speak for itself.
My what?
Your head game. Like, just give me some head.
It's not in the book, though. That part is not in the
No,
book.
I did not.
I'm just making sure.
I'm saying the guy.
In the book.
I'm saying the guy. When the book was written was 92. A lot of people they were very shy at things like that. Now that we are, as a community, as a society, we are not shy at that no more. It's right to say, just give your significant other some head. How do you know that's not what they need? I'm not saying to woman, I'm saying woman to a man, give him some head. Man to woman, give her some head. She just probably need to drain. Drain her. Shit. Sometimes we'll be talking too much when some things are just easily solved, sexually. Because some people be out here really sexually starved. There's a study that came out that said that a lot of couples or relationships are not working these days because people, and even the government itself, are trying to find a way so people could be fucking some more, because people are not doing it of late. And because they're not doing it of late, there's a lot of misery in the world. Can you imagine a world where a lot of people are just sexually active? A lot of people be smiling and happy for no reason. Just saying.
Isn't it funny? Well, not funny, but in all the things he describes in the book, touching on your point, of all the things women should do, of all the things men should do, of all the things, the characteristics of women and men, there was nothing about sex in the book.
And that's my point. He removed the most important part of it all. Can you imagine?
Nothing about sex or intimacy.
Like come on. Eh? Like I said, it was written in 92. Back then it has been revised a few
Fair,
times.
that's a fair point.
Yeah.
That's a fair
And that
point.
was when, sex was not out there like
But we
that.
did read the revision though. I think it was in like 2003 or something like that. It still wasn't in there.
In 2003, what you know about sex today is not what you knew in 2003. It's two different. 2003, well, if you start talking about 2020, 2019, 2020, 2021, like going into the pandemic and after that, oh yeah, that's a different ballgame. Yeah. But just saying, yeah. Okay. Um, we've talked about the scoring system, fairness in relationships, and does it create transactional love? We talk about that. So, I guess winding down here, what's one piece of relationship advice you've heard from the book that makes you cringe or totally backfired? I guess I could take this one first, since I've been yapping my mouth and the thing is just right there at the tip of my tongue. Is this point scoring system? Oh God. Like, I just cannot. It cannot sink into my thick skull, man. Like, it just cannot. I'm seriously having a hard time. Now, if I'm gonna take a pause to this shit. Wait, to you though, let me ask you this: is that true? Do you see it that way? Is it true?
What true?
Is everything 1 point?
I don't know. I wouldn't necessarily say the 1 point.
Hold on, before you answer. And if that's the case, right? If that's the case, please, ladies, tell me this. If it's all 1 point, then well, I guess it's 0 and 1, right? Go ahead, answer, and then maybe whatever I think it will make sense. Sorry, go ahead.
I don't think necessarily that the point system, everything is one. But I do agree with the part where it says that to women, big things are just as important as little things. But I'm not taking that part away. But to me, I would not rate big things being done and little things. But again, I cannot deny the effect that whether it's big or small, that it would have on me on how I respond, if that makes sense.
Okay.
The fact that because there'll even the Bible is the one that says little foxes spoil the vine, right? It's usually not the big things it's usually not the very big things that break people up. Those very little things. So I do think that they're just as important as the big things, but I would not rate a big gesture the same as a small gesture.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I agree. And taking out the trash is nothing that big of a deal too, ladies, especially if the trash can is in the garage. It's not like you gotta go outside. So what the fuck we talking about? Anyway.
You know what? What's one good relationship thing? Because all you've done is bash the book. What's one good thing that you are taking from the book?
One good thing I took from the book. No, sorry, guys. I'm not really bashing the book per se.
Not bashing that's the wrong choice of word. Yeah. You've been yapping.
About the book. Again, certain theories, about the book. Certain theories about the book. Me personally, first of all, I write for my bros. I write for my bros and my sis. But I also want us to find mediums in everything and understand that certain things will go women's way, 100%. Certain things will go men way, 100%. And when it comes down to the part where it's going 100% for men, we just need women to stop coming after us. Like, we not allowed to also have moments like that. We are allowed to have moments like that. So with that said, from the book, one thing that I really liked is the fact that he drove the idea about the differences between men and women, right? He really found many different examples, many different ways to drive his 1 or 2 points that the entire book is centered around. And then 2, the fact that the differences between men and women, where men don't really ask for help per se. No, men don't really ask for things per se, versus women who ask, right? Like those differences, hearing that, hearing that kind of put perspective for certain things for me, and understanding to how I receive certain questions or comments or things like that, and how to I want to pose questions or comments regarding how men and women share and receive gifts or personas, reactions, things like that around that realm of things. So yeah.
Before the book, I think it's common knowledge. Everybody knows that men are women, right? But like you mentioned something in the book, that boy ran through that list. I'm telling you, like you look at it and it's almost like night and day. You don't really grasp how different people are until, you're actually staring through a list and looking at tangible evidence, so to say, because he has a PhD in psychology or something like that. So to actually see that much vast difference, it put things in perspective for me in terms of acceptance, right? We always say, oh, I accept this person, I accept it, but I see how much difference we are. And to me, it drives the point across of me being even more accept. Hi, English. Even to be even more accepting to a man. Now, and that is not to say that because he has listed these differences, they are necessarily good things, right? He just lists those differences so we can know and understand where somebody is coming from at certain points, right? It's left to us to make those adjustments based on the people that we are around. Because if we are all living in silos, we can live perfectly, right? We can all live in our world, but unfortunately, men are not living in Mars, women are not living in Venus. So whichever planet it is, we are both coexisting on Earth. So the acceptance piece, I think the more showing me that the more accepting I am of someone else's differences, that's what makes me more accommodating to them. That's what makes me able to compromise to a certain extent so that we can coexist. So yeah, he has a whole different he has different subjects he wrote on. He wrote on raising children, parenting, sex. There's a whole portion of like when Venus and Mars meet in bed about sex. I don't know. I think I'm just intrigued to read what is just out of curiosity, but I don't know. But yeah, that was eye opening.
It sure was. It sure was, for sure. I mean, most times we read is not about really. For me, I love to read because I get to tap into another person's mind frame set, however you want to put it. And it's not my place to tell them that they're right or wrong, but I can also debate, their logic, their mentality, and that's that. I could use that to my benefit, or I could use it to my detriment. It's all up to you, me, right, on how we do it. So we're doing this because, one, we love to read, and two, we like to dissect the ins and outs of other people's thoughts. So with that said, our next book offered to us by yours truly, T. Regretting You by Colin Hoover. Man, what is it about? If you had to summarize in one sentence, just one sentence alone, what is it about?
I think it's a book about love, betrayal, and forgiveness.
Who betrayed who? Man or woman?
I don't know.
Okay.
We'll have to read the book to find out. I think there's also a movie coming out this winter or this fall, end of this fall, on the book. So.
Oh, really? Ooh, I hope he has some spiciness like the other one I read. I'm done. Jesus. The one we read.
What was it about?
It has a movie now. It ends with you.
Oh, it ends with no. We've not read that on the book club.
Oh, I haven't read it yet. Oh, sorry. Oh no, I read that one personally. Sorry, I read that one personally. It ends with you. I'm talking about the drama, like when they made the movie. The drama that came after the movie.
The book does look like it has some drama, but
Oh yeah,
we'll read to find out.
we'll read to find out. Regretting You by Colin Hoover. The image and it will be in the show notes, you know what I mean, for all my book lovers readers. So yeah, shout out to T for suggesting that next read. And shout out to the remainder of the cast. You guys know it's holiday season, so a lot of people out. And also too for conferences. Shout out to Manny, shout out to Chuchu, shout out to Barbara, shout out to Anna, shout out to Nora, shout out to forgetting the other mommy in Atlanta. Josie. Shout out to Josie. Yes. Who am I missing anybody else? Mane. Shout out. Did I say Mane already?
Yes, you did.
Man, shout out to all of you guys. You know, catch you guys on the next one. I know you guys ran this one because the book is late, but we'll forgive you. We'll forgive you for standing us up. We'll forgive you guys. Did I say we'll forgive you guys? Yeah, we'll forgive you guys. So, anyways, man, the truth might not be found on Mars or Venus, but right here on Earth, where love requires listening, empathy, and evolution. Let me repeat that. The truth might not be found on Mars or Venus, but right here on Earth, where love requires listening, empathy, and evolution. We just went, well, if this conversation make you think, share this episode with someone who's ever said, men just like that. Oh, men are just like that. And challenge them to see love beyond the stereotypes. Again, this book was John Gray's Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus, the best-selling relationship manual that sold millions, shaped a generation, and still divides readers today. Follow us, review, and join the conversation. What part of Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus still holds value for you, and what belongs in relationship history? Let's talk about it, not just from planets, but also from a standpoint about people, right? I don't know, for those of you who love geography and know about planets and things like that, if you guys can relate humans to other planets, we would love to know too. I still don't know where he got the Mars aspect and the Venus aspect, but I love how, you know, he uses it all over the book. So catch you guys on the next one. Don't forget to read Regretting You by Colin Hoover. Don't forget to read it, and then, you know, that will be our next recording. So, shout out to you. Thank you for making this a great experience. As always, shout out to the listeners for being a good sport, for, you know, getting all the way this far. Catch you guys on the next one. I'm Uncle AK, and she goes by T for Terez. We outie. Peace.